And the world is marking International Women's Day with the theme Women in Leadership, Achieving an Equal Future in a COVID-19 World. And this year's celebration is like no other as countries and communities start to slowly recover from the devastating pandemic. The opportunity has come to finally end the exclusion and marginalization of women and girls. But to do that, immediate action is needed, as women must have the opportunity to play a full role in shaping the pivotal decisions being made right now as countries respond to and recover from the COVID-19 pandemic, choices that will affect the well-being of people and the planet for generations to come. Joining us now to talk about this is Priscilla Bontu, a foreign legal advisor to Boutique International law firm in New York City. Hello, Priscilla. Great to have you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
So what are your thoughts on this year's theme? And do you think the time has come to end the exclusion of women in leadership?
Well, I think the theme this year actually highlights the tremendous efforts shown by women all around the world in shaping a more equal future and recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic. Some of the most efficient and successful responses to the COVID-19 pandemic were actually led by women. In fact, women are said to be on the forefront of the battle against the pandemic, whether as healthcare workers or scientists or doctors or caregivers. However, the classic gender pay gap, unfortunately, still remains. And according to a study of the United Nations, for example, these women are getting paid about 11% less than their male counterparts globally. So this requires greater support and social protection for women. We must invest in gender responsive protection systems to support women's income security, for example. We must also expand access to affordable childcare services to enable women to continue to work or to actually re-enter the workforce. So overall, I think that this year's International Women's Day should serve as a reminder for all of us to work collectively towards the reversal of long-standing inequalities. And what does that mean exactly? Well, we must consider qualified and competent women for leadership positions, for example. We must avoid the unequal division of work at home. We must avoid the gender pay gap. And we certainly have to stop undervaluing the work that is generally being done by women.
So far, what progress have you seen on gender equality in your life and works as a legal advisor?
Well, as a woman of color and a legal advisor on Wall Street, I can generally say that the legal profession has always been a bit rigid and a bit slow when it comes to racial and gender equality. Data actually shows that there are about 9,000 attorneys practicing at Wall Street law firms currently. And of that total, less than 20% are women and about 20 to 25% are male partners, and only about 5% are actually female partners. However, like law firms have shown some sort of improvement over the last few years as they now offer childcare services, for example, or a more flexible work schedule for their employees who are raising children at home. But I also think that movements such as the Me Too movement have also led to the fact that a lot of male partners or male lawyers now generally feel a little bit more scared or uncomfortable or reluctant to take in female lawyers and teach them and train them on the job, which also hurts their professional growth. So I think it's still a work in progress, but I'm pretty sure that law firms have not entirely reached all of the goals that they have set for themselves over the last few years.
Now, how do you think we can address these inequalities and strike a balance in surmounting the gender bias?
Well, I think it's crucial for employers to monitor the professional development of their female employees. And by that, I mean that employers should start to actually consider their qualified female employees for leadership positions. They must start to listen to their female employees' concerns, to their female employees' needs, and pay them the equal salary. You have to be a little bit more flexible in terms of the workload, the work hours, and provide for other mechanisms in the workplace that actually provide promote gender equality. And if there's one thing that we all learned during this COVID-19 pandemic, it is the fact that remote work is actually a fair and reasonable alternative to working at the office, okay? So we can no longer assume that physical presence at the office for the future is necessary, or to physically be present during a certain time at the office is necessary in order to get the job done. So my hope for the future is that employers will continue to offer their employees, particularly women who are more likely to be in charge of taking care of the children at home, the option to stay at home and actually work from home.
All right, Priscilla Bonsu, happy International Women's Day to you, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.